All right, back here with another wonderful story. As you can tell by the title, yesterday was a day from hell. So, yesterday is my normal pickup day for my weekly take homes. I go to the clinic, get my take homes for the week. But yesterday I had my yearly nursing appointment. So, I wake up about 4 o'clock in the morning and it's snowing like a bastard out. So, like, oh, great. Normally it takes me about an hour to get there, so I was like, well, it's probably going to take me a couple hours to get there where it's snowing like crazy. So, my plan is, because whenever you go to the clinic, I go once a week, and usually every 3 or 4 weeks I have a urine test. And it had been probably 4 weeks, so I knew I was due. So, I made the big mistake of waking up and going right to the bathroom, thinking it would. Well, it wasn't a mistake. I figured where it was snowing, it would take me a couple hours to get there. So, I did my thing. I went to the bathroom. I get out on the road. My local roads are terrible, absolutely terrible. So I was like, all right, yeah, it's definitely going to take me a couple hours. So, well, that was a big mistake. I stopped, get a coffee. Shouldn't have gone to the bathroom. I should have known better. I should have just held it and waited. But I didn't. So, anyways, I stop, grab a coffee, and I jump on the interstate. Interstate's just wet tar. I'm like, oh, great. I'm going to get there in like an hour in no time, no problem. I go, well, I'll drink coffee. I had a jug of water in the back. I was drinking that because I knew I was going to have a urine test. I knew I would. So I get to the clinic 2 hours before my appointment with the doctor. The appointment was for 8:30. I got there between 6 and 6:30. I was like, oh, great. So I check in, and they tell me that the nurse can see me or the doctor can see me. I'm like, oh, good. So anyways, I go in. On our way in, the nurse is like, you can go dose now before the appointment if you want. I'm like, well, that's why I had a jug of water in my hand. I'm like, well, I got this jug of water because I made the mistake of going to the bathroom before I went here. So if we can just go do the appointment, then I'll do that after. She's like, yeah, no problem. So we go in, do the normal thing. She asks about how my dose is holding me. They do your weight, your height, your blood pressure, your pulse, your oxygen level. And they put that little thing on your finger and check your blood oxygen level or whatever it is. So, the appointment was only like 15 minutes because I've been there for so long. I'm one of those in and out patients. Nothing changes with me. Everything's always the same. So, the appointment's only like 10 minutes. Normally it's like a half hour, 45 minutes. So, I'm done with that. I go get in line to dose. I go in, and I did have a urine test. When I got there, I punched my number in. I did have a urine test. I knew it was going to happen. So I'm like, oh, crap, I don't have to pee yet. But I've been drinking water this whole time. So I go in, and they give me, I give them my number. I give them my take-home bottles that I had from the week before, because you always got to return your bottles from the week before. So they give me my urine cup, and I go in the bathroom. Sure as shit, I can't pee. I'm like, oh, man, this sucks so bad. I've never had this happen. I mean, I've never had it to the point where I actually had to go and drink more water before I could go. So I go back to the window. I say I can't go. They give me a cup of water or whatever. I go and sit down in the lounge, and this is where it gets even more worse. I'm sitting there. I look over at the thing, the computer you punch your number into. I see the screen goes black. I'm like, oh no, what's that about? Computer systems crashed. I'm like, oh no. Next thing I know, people are showing up. The line's getting longer. The line's starting to go out the door to the outside. Meanwhile, it's like probably 10, 15 degrees outside, freezing. And it's still snowing a little bit. And so the computer systems crashed. They were down for a while, and I'm like, oh man. So I go into the bathroom. I tried to, I had my cup in my pocket. I go into the bathroom. I try to go again. I can't go. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. What is going on? I go out to my car and I drink. I had like a liter bottle of smart water. I drank all of that and I went back in probably half an hour later, tried to go, couldn't go. I'm like, what the hell is going on? This just can't get any worse. Meanwhile, the line is like out the door, halfway down the parking lot. Shit's just getting out of hand. So I go, I get in my car, I take a trip to Dunkin' Donuts, I go grab a coffee, and I come back to the clinic, and the line's getting longer and longer and longer. I'm like, oh man, this is going to be hell. Meanwhile, when they give you your urine cup to go do the urines, they give you a little sheet of paper that says UA nursing. So basically it gives you a thing to get to the front of the line after you do your urine test. That way you don't have to go to the end of the line. Thankfully I had that. So I drank like half of my coffee, and finally I'm like, okay, I know I gotta go. I've drinking a liter and a half of water, plus the bottle I brought in with me for the nursing or the doctor's appointment. I'm like, all right, I know I've got to go. So, meanwhile, computer systems are still down. It's like the day from hell at the clinic. I go in the bathroom, I pull out the cup, and I just go. And it's like, oh, finally, thank God, I can get my bottles and I can get the hell out of here. I'd already been there for like 2 hours. So, I go in, I do my thing, I go into the window, and by this time, the computer systems are back online, so lines are finally moving. I'm like, wow, thank God that happened. So I go and get in line, and I go and dose and get my bottles, and I get the hell out of there. And I'm like, oh man, a normal 15, 20-minute trip turned into almost about 2.5 hours. So, needless to say, yesterday sucked. That's like the first time that's ever happened to me. Usually I'm in and out, no problem, things are good. I'm like the ideal patient. I do what I'm supposed to do. I pass on my urine tests. I do all my counseling appointments. Everything always goes right for me. But yesterday just sucked. First starting with the roads being crappy, and then it turns out the interstate was fine. Waking up and going to the bathroom, which I shouldn't have done. I knew I should have held it, but I figured it was going to take me a long time to get there where the roads were being crappy. But they take good care of the interstate up here. So, that, anyways, was my day. Not really from hell, but it was just a day gone wrong. It could have been a little better. I know for some people they're like, oh, that's not that bad of a day. What the hell are you bitching about? But it kind of sucked. Especially when you're not used to, having to sit around and wait and try and pee and not be able to pee. And it's like, man, what the hell is going on? Why can't I go? So, what sucked the most part about the rest of the day was I probably pissed like 10, 15 times all day because I drank all that water. So I ended up just having a day where I had to go to the bathroom every every hour to hour and a half. So, anyways, I just wanted to say that story, let everyone, just fill everyone in on my day, how it went. So anyways, I just want to let you guys know, if I can get sober, you can get sober. Have yourself a beautiful day.